My name is Chris Stafford and I'm Chief Executive of Curve Theatre. Chief Executive at Curve is essentially the person who works across departments, and I really see my role as making sure people who work around me, who are far better at doing what they do than I could ever be, have all the right resources and conditions in order to be excellent. So this year is our 10th birthday at Curve, and it's been a year of real celebration right across our building. So we've done very big public events. So we did an event called Curve Live where we had lots of people who've been part of the family for the last 10 years performing a live concert free of charge that was chosen at ballot. But rather than just do a live concert in our 900-seat theatre, the joy of Curve is we've got this extraordinary architecture. So we were able to open all walls into our 300-seat studio space and have essentially a 1,200-seater concert free of charge. So that was a brilliant way of marking our 10th birthday. We also have done masses of community projects working within our local community about what does Leicester mean to them. But also this year we celebrated that we sold almost 1 million tickets, both for our work in Leicester and our national and international tour. When we reached our 5th birthday, we announced we sold 1 million tickets in the first 5 years. And I think it's a real note of kind of the journey that Curve's gone on in the last 10 years, that we've marked it with 1 million tickets. Regional theatre's incredibly important to what is the theatre makeup in this country, in the landscape of what theatre is in this country. Most of us, our very first experience of theatre is in our local theatres outside of London. Of course we need a capital city which is on the world map, which really is a champion of excellence in theatre. But excellence in theatre doesn't begin and end in London. It's all up and down the country. You look at what's happened with Whole Truck as through the City of Culture. You look at the work that's happening at the Everyman, the new repertory seasons that they're championing, the RSC championing new work as well as reinvention of Shakespeare's classics. Theatre up and down the land is doing excellent stuff, often at a fraction of what you would pay in the West End, but I would strongly believe that of the quality that you would get in the West End. And that's work that's homegrown often, but also work that we're bringing into our theatres. A theatre like Curve, we do lots of work under our Made at Curve banner, and that's work that we produce in our home theatre that sometimes only sits at Curve and in Leicester, but often goes out nationally and internationally. We sold, I think, about 750,000 tickets last year for work that we created at Curve on the road across this country, but also internationally. But alongside our produced work, what's really exciting about running a regional theatre is you get to invite some incredible artists from outside of your city to come and make work or bring their work. So at the moment we've got Cameron McIntosh is opening Les Mis at Curve. Cameron chooses Curve to open his work because of our unique facilities, and I think the fact that we've got incredible audiences, and I'm very biased for our audiences, but we do have incredible audiences. So one of the joys of regional theatre is you get to surprise, you get to curate a broad programme, because our jobs as leaders of regional theatres is to make sure that we serve all of our audiences. I firmly believe every taxpayer has right and access to come and engage with great art and culture, and so we can present work which are big name blockbuster titles like Les Mis, new work like Belarus Free Theatre, but also we can be a champion of creating and originating world-class theatre on our doorsteps. Funding cuts are always something that we live in fear of. We are now accustomed as theatre leaders to doing more with less, and absolutely our jobs is to advocate and lobby to ring fence and safeguard public funding in the arts. We can't be pitching public funding with the arts with essential services. We need it all for a civic society, and the more that's chipped away, the more that we're going to lose, and we may not know what we've lost until it's gone, and it will take many years to replace that. And when I say what we've lost, essentially it's the work that requires significant investment. Running a theatre like Curve, all of our artist development work, all of our learning work, often work that happens behind closed doors, which is less visible than White Christmas or On Your Feet or Cat in the Hat or any of the shows that we're doing. But that's the work that is really about the future. That's the work that is about cultivating and nurturing artists, making sure that they have we want to find the next big musical theatre writer. We want to find the next big drama writer, next choreographer. And that resource is really important. So funding and investment in the arts goes to things like artist development. We look at what's happening now at the curriculum. As I've said, most people first engage with the arts through school. And when creativity is being chipped away on the curriculum and the EBAC is denying that creative voice and plays and drama, we're gonna produce a society which, unless you've got the financial means, many young people will not be going to theatre. I come from a very, very working class background. My parents never could afford to take me to theatre. I only went because my school got me on a free place to go. So that whole idea that investment in the arts, for me, it's about the future. And so for us as theatre leaders, but also audiences and participants, we've got to champion and advocate for that. And of course, what we also have to do is I run a business. So I've got to find more ways to plug that gap. What I can't do and what wouldn't be right is, and none of us running these theatres ever rests on our laurels. But for me, it's really important we are finding ways because we're aware of the status quo. In terms of Brexit, who knows? Fundamentally, the impact that Brexit will have on our economy, there will be an impact, I firmly believe, but whatever that impact will have an impact on the arts. But at this moment in time, I think I can probably speak for many people, I simply don't know. I'm really lucky that I'd say I've had many highlights over the last 5 years. I think one of the biggest highlights, actually, and this is a very personal one, is my relationship with Nikolai. I think I've always wanted to run a building, and I always wanted to find a running mate that I could connect with, because I see those teams, and when they work, they're extraordinary. Nick and Nick from the National, now the Bridge. I look at Tom and Emma at Bristol Old Vic. So those teams, I think they can make magic, and also they can ride the tough times, but also really kind of push ambition. And for me, a highlight was meeting Nikolai. So we've got an awful lot coming up over the next 6 to 12 months, and as I often think, I can tell you what we're doing in 2021-22, but I always struggle in the immediate future. The highlights that we've got coming up in terms of Made at Curve work is we're really, really thrilled. Obviously, we're doing White Christmas and Cat in the Hat this year. The shows for young people and families are really important to us, and Nikolai and I decided when we very first started working together 3 and a bit years ago that we wanted to create work, quality work for young people, and produce that in our studio, our 300-seater, alongside the musical in the 900-seater. So Cat in the Hat will also go on national tour after Curve, which we're really thrilled about. We're also doing co-producing To Kill a Mockingbird. So Regent's Park's production is we're co-producing, and it will open at Curve, and we're really, really thrilled. It's such an extraordinary production. And it's one where we had it at Curve a few years ago, and when Jonathan Church Productions approached us about co-producing it this year, without hesitation we said yes. Watching people of all ages engaging with that incredibly powerful drama was quite extraordinary, so we're thrilled to be doing that. A very personal highlight of mine, and the first musical we put down money for and the licence for when I first became chief executive, is The Colour Purple. I think it's an extraordinary piece of musical theatre. There was a production in London a few years ago that transferred to Broadway, but I don't think there's ever been a quite big scale production outside of London ever produced, and so I'm really pleased that we're going to be co-producing that with Birmingham Hippodrome, and an incredibly fantastic director called Tanuki Craig is at the helm of that production, and I'm really, really excited to see what she's going to do with that. So that's going to be a massive one for us, but alongside that, we're also going to, straight after that, I believe, we're doing the UK premiere of Gloria Estefan's On Your Feet. Nikolai and I saw it on Broadway about 3 years ago. and were blown away. Was blown away by it. Gloria's story is quite extraordinary. The music is obviously fantastic. The choreography is sublime, and we went to see it just to go and see the musical. It was our night out. It was a night off, and fortunately, we were offered by Jamie Wilson Productions if we wanted to co-produce with them and Gavin Calen on bringing the production over here before it goes for 12 weeks at the Coliseum in London. And we're delighted that we're doing that. And Gloria's been in Leicester. She promoted it in Leicester. And what was really fantastic is seeing her in our theatre, in complete awe of our theatre, but also seeing her work with our Curve Young Company. In 5 words to describe Curve: creative, community, ambitious, bonkers, joyous.